Paul Barchilon, Vice President of the American Go Foundation. I've done a lot of teaching with kids. Probably taught a couple thousand kids at this point in schools and in libraries. I've been involved with that for a while. I'm going to focus right now on my work in libraries and also just talk about what the AGF can provide. We are a separate organization from the AGA, which a lot of people don't realize because we're sort of like sister organizations, and a lot of people, the AGF will do something for them and they'll thank the AGA, and that's fine. We don't care. We're all connected. We're all sharing the same goals, and we have similar board members, and but we are a separate organization, which has actually been really useful for us because we're a 501c3, which means people can donate to us and receive a tax exemption on that, which is the entire basis of all of our funding. Is it comes from donations. So in terms of our work in libraries, this was actually sort of a newer market for us because we had traditionally focused on schools. That had been the primary target, and the feeling that if we can get schools in, get into the curriculum, we can get to kids. And so while we've continued to do that, we started picking up on libraries, and we really have been very blessed that we got a fantastic donation from Winston Jen, who gave us, it's a best-selling cartoon series, comic book series called manga, called Hikaru no Go, and it's about children who play Go professionally in Japan, and it's a 23-volume set, so if you're a parent and you're trying to buy that for your kid, that's $230, and a big stack of books, and Winston gave us 1,000 sets, so we provide that free to any library, any school that asks for it, and we want people to put it into their collection. And then once they've got that, the kids read it, they want to start playing. This is something we've discovered over and over and over again. You get kids reading this, and I want to go pro. I want to play like Toya. I want to play like Hikaru. I want to learn how to do that. And we have a sticker in every book saying, Go is real. It's not made up. This is an actual game, and you can meet other kids who play on our website. If you want to start a club at your library or school, contact us. We'll send you free equipment. So we really provide huge resources. Our classroom starter set is enough for 24 kids to play Go on the small board 9x9 at once. And we also include 3 large size boards in there as well. So any school or program that writes to us will send you the free set of equipment. And then if your club is successful and starts to grow, you can order more equipment from us, and we'll even pay for half of it. So libraries in particular have found this very appealing because everybody's got their budgets are getting smaller, and they can't afford to pay for X or Y, and well, we're going to give you all this manga for free, and then we'll also give you free equipment to start a program. So that's been successful, and we're trying to reach out to more libraries. We've been attending the American Library Association annual convention for the past couple years, and just trying to reach out to librarians, let them know that we exist. And the response is really great. Once they find out what we're doing, many of them know about Hikaru already. They've seen it. The kids have read it. Maybe they have 1 or 2 volumes, but there's thousands of manga titles out there and more coming every month. And it's very hard because they're all episodic. So if you have volume 7 in your library and that's it, might as well just throw it away because it's meaningless. So you need to have the entire sequence of things. And of course, books get lost in libraries, and very few libraries, they'll get in a few of a manga series because they hear it's popular, and they'll get a few volumes, but then that's it. And these things run for years and have lots and lots of volumes. So we provide the entire complete run, all 23 volumes. And people do contact us all the time and then want to start a program, after the kids have been exposed to that. So that's been a huge outreach effort for us, and I think a tremendous, really something that we're able to introduce to a community now because we have this, it's a visual resource, it's a graphic resource, it's a library resource, and it builds right into playing Go. And the comic is, of course, very constructive for that because it, it has little lessons on how to play Go, but the main thing is it gets kids excited about playing Go. And like Peter said, this is really what the crux of it is because we have a lot of different ways to teach. What we need to do is get kids excited. And for me, I feel very much that that's about engaging in a kid, and it's about letting the kid play. And when we try to regiment things too much or have too much structure or focus too much on these other things, we end up boring the child. So I tell people when you start teaching a kid, if you see their eyes rolling,
shut up.
Yeah, you've got the wrong approach. I try not to spend any more than 5 minutes teaching a kid. In fact, less if I can. And then I just play. and I don't explain all the rules, we just play. And after we've played that first game, and I say, now that you understand this, I say, okay, now, are you ready for a few more concepts, you know? And then maybe I'll teach them about eyes, and if they're clear on that, maybe I'll teach about co. But you never want to overwhelm a child with all the complexities, or like Terry was talking earlier about, you know, those stones are dead, or you can't play there. You start bringing in these things, and it's like, beginners don't understand that, you know. And one of the things that cracks me up the most about the game, you know, if somebody is observing the game, somebody who does not know how to play the game, and they're watching two people play Go. So these two people are sweating it out. They're deliberating over every move, agonizing over where they're going to put these stones. I mean, who knows why? Who knows what's going on with this game? And then, all of a sudden, at some arbitrary moment, they stop, and then they just start picking up all the stones, and they move them all over the place. And both players are doing this instantly all over the board, and what are these people doing? I mean, this is absolutely insane. You know, just looking at the game, it makes no sense whatsoever visually. So it's very confusing for beginners with that. And kids, too, they want to know, when does the game end? They don't understand what that is. So we have a lot of these things that I think are sort of impediments to introducing Go, to getting it to a wider area. And I think Hikaru is something that really helps us overcome a lot of those impediments, because once kids see it, then they're really excited about it. You know, so spreading that out is a positive way to do that. Again, the idea of having team play, once you've got you know, a library going and you've got a lot of kids playing in it, you know, if you can get them online, then they can compete with other libraries around the country. And we've even had, you know, the whole Skype thing. Some of Siddhartha's kids and Peter's kids have been Skyping, you know, with other kids. And so that's a great thing, to Skype and have KGS and have other resources. Something we'd really love to move into would be having Skype presentations in a library. Maybe you know, you've got a library in some rural area that doesn't have any Go players nearby, and maybe we can have somebody teach by Skype. You know, that would be a good way to do that. So technology can really help us with all of these things, and you know, we're very interested in pursuing those. We've just redesigned our website to be a little more Web 2.0, a little more user-friendly. Our youth website, Tiger's Mouth, is a forum-based website, and we actually got kids to make it. I started the website about 4 years ago, and I called for volunteers, and I got a bunch of teenagers, which are the best people to have make a website for youth. And they wanted a forum-based website that was run on some software thing that was free, but that I had no idea how to use, so I've had to learn how to do all that. But they were absolutely right. I didn't want to have this kind of website, but they were absolutely right. And now, you know, it's all these years later, and you know, we have well over 1,000 members, and there's hundreds of thousands of posts on there that the kids, they're talking about Go, and they have a community online, you know, and we have tournaments, and you know, kids come and go, and that changes, but kids from all across the country, and here at Congress, one of Peter's kids in his club, he plays online in all of our tournaments, you know, wins all these prizes, and you know, here he is competing at, what is about Tudon now?
Yeah.
But, so
he's not in my club, but he's
yeah,
in Portland.
Yeah, so.
But I play with him.
So it's great to sort of get those things to come together and to build community, you know, and we can use the internet to build community, we can use libraries to build community, we can use schools to build community, and it's about making the connections between those, and about letting people know that we have those resources. So anyone who's looking at this online, I'm sure we're going to have some links somewhere, but our website is agfgo.org, agfgo.org, and if you just click on that, we've got information about getting Hikaru, information about the starter set, our AGF store, where you can get equipment for your program at you know, pretty much cost, actually less than cost, because we supplement the price. So that's kind of what we're about, is getting that out there, and we want to increase the networks, and we do everything by email, and we do have a lot of networks functioning, and that's you know, what our goal is. Does anyone have any questions about library programs or the AGF or anything like that? Yep. It's our resident question asker.
I don't have a question, I just have a comment, which is that I come from an entertainment background, and I think that it makes absolute sense that the manga was really what created the interest. And one question that I have about Mind Sports is just programming ideas and how to televise it in a way that makes sense, that where there's smart commentary, where people who don't know anything understand the inherent drama involved. I mean, kids became completely smitten with poker after the whole card camera on ESPN allowed for them to understand. And the commentary is great. And of course, there's always the cachet of the bad boy renegade in poker that the other Mind Sports won't have. They just won't. But I'm just wondering if, in terms of the visuals, I know in China people watch Go on television, but you know, it's part of the culture in China in a way that's not here. So just, you know, if there are thoughts that people have about programming ideas.
Well, the way that's dealt with in the Asian countries is they have, the game is going on, but you know, the problem with Go is that it can take a while, and particularly a serious game. You know, like if we're talking about the World Finals, I mean, it's going to take several hours. You know, it could take days for title matches, so it can be very, very slow to watch. So, first off, when they're televising, they frequently do fast Go, where there's a time limit, so they have to play quicker, so that helps.
Right.
And then they'll have a professional doing commentary on a board that's separate, and they're explaining what's going on. Well, white goes here because there's this threat, and then things can come very quickly, and it can become more exciting. Reminds me of Stephen Colbert did this hysterical thing when we had the first World Mind Sports Games, and he was making fun of the four sports that are there, and you know, one of them was Shangi, which is Chinese chess, and he's like, so there was that, and then he shows this photograph of these two people playing, and they're like this or whatever. But what really made it the kicker was he said, and this is not a photograph. This is live video feed. It was like, and this is the problem we have. And the irony is that Go is the most visually compelling game in the entire world. I mean, people walking by on the street and seeing somebody, this is like, wow, what is that? Chess is not that interesting to look at. Checkers is pretty boring, but you walk by and you look at a Go board, and you're like, wow, that's beautiful, it's strange, it's unusual, you can't figure out what's going on. Even if you're a Go player, you can't figure out what's going on. So there's a really, we have that magic there. So I think a way to capture an element of that, and I think in terms of promoting that or getting that in a more visual context, I think doing fast Go, doing time limit Go, and having professionals who are commenting and playing out variations and showing things on the screen, because there's so much that's not seen.
No, I think that's critical too. I mean, my knowledge of American football really increased with the grease pencil. I literally didn't know how to watch it. But the other thing is really having portraits of personalities, because you see that with the Olympics. You're interested in curling because you see a portrait of somebody as a kid who did it, or So. This is the stuff that I think about. So, thank you.
Any other questions or comments? Yep. Thank you.
Could you talk a little bit about what the AGF might do to help start a university club?
So universities, they've been sort of in a little transitional period. We used to have some funding that we offered matching funds for universities so that university clubs could also become involved in our programs. Unfortunately, we lost our budget for that. So we're currently only supporting K through 12 with a couple exceptions. We will allow university clubs to become affiliated with the AGF and gain access to the AGF store, but we won't send them the equipment for free. And we won't provide matching funds. So that's a little different. If you're in K-12 and you send us an application, we'll send you everything you need for free. If you're in the university, you need to pay us for it. Now, I should qualify that we're selling Go boards with stones, a complete set for $10, and they're full size and pretty reasonable to play with. So it's actually quite cheap to furnish a Go club or get enough equipment to go, particularly if you have a school budget, which many universities do. If you get recognition as an official club, then you can purchase stuff, you can apply to be a program and purchase stuff through the AGF. And that is something that we would like to expand on. We would like to have more support for college stuff. There unfortunately hasn't been the budget for it in the past, but I'm hoping that there will be again in the future, that we'll be able to support that a little more actively.
And just to add a little to that, because I also work on the AGF board, we sell this really cheap equipment, but we have very strict controls on who we'll sell it to and how much, because we really appreciate and support the vendors, the businesses that have put themselves out there and are taking the risk to bring Go to the American community. We don't want to compete with them. So the playing equipment is not available to the general public. But if you look at the store, there are 3 pages. There's the playing equipment, there's also teaching equipment with demonstration boards and other types of items, and promotional items, prizes, scrolls, pictures, things like that that are available to the general public. And the AGF also, there are a lot of other things we do that are not so widely practiced. There's something called fiscal agency, where you may have an organization in your community that supports Asian arts, let's say, and you could apply to them and get funding, but they want to give their funding to a 501c3. We can be your fiscal agent so that you can get those funds and they will apply to your community. We also have a newsletter that you can subscribe to that kind of keeps you up to date on some of the stuff that I was talking about and what's going on with Go Education. And what other stuff do we do that we haven't talked about? There's like 12 different things. Well, you can go to the website and find it out also. Pedro. Mike?
Oh, Peter's approaching the microphone.
I just wanted to, with that mention about the university clubs, what I did, I was teaching out in Las Cruces, and it was getting sponsored by the Confucius Institute, so there was a lot of money available, and what I did was, instead of getting them to get Go sets and all that, because we weren't being funded by you guys, Yellow Mountain's got this terrific magnetic Go set for like 10, 12 bucks. I think it's 12 bucks, and then we have two now, but they're really cheap. Kids can carry them around. They're not a big investment, and et cetera. I mean, it's a real thing. Yellow Mountain, Google Yellow Mountain.
Right.
And you've got it, and it's...
And there are Confucius Institutes, dozens of them affiliated with colleges all around the country. There might be one in your hometown. And they operate independently, and they might be persuaded, as you persuaded the people in Las Cruces. In fact, there's a representative of the local Confucius Institute here at the Congress in the playing area.
In the planning.
In the playing area, where the U.S. Open is, where the vendors are. There's a desk there for the Confucius Institute from the University of North Carolina.
Right, but I think they were going to, Paul wanted them to help sponsor, and I don't think they did. They did some tournaments before, but anyway.
Well, each one is independent, so you might find a more hospitable reception.
I got persuaded by the Confucius Institute, but the point is that each university has a Confucius Institute. They have a budget, and if you go to them, they can earmark a piece of the budget. So it's a way to think about that. Yeah. Okay, thanks.
Yeah, good. All right, thanks, Peter. I actually give away those magnetic sets to kids at my club. Any kid who comes 6 times, I give them a free Go board. I mean, they have to demonstrate that they're serious, and Pong Yen at Yellow Mountain has just been great. He gives all of our AGF programs a discount. If you just tell them that it's an AGF program, you can get a discount from them. So we give those boards away for free, and that helps get kids to come back, too.
And what that means is you download the AGF program application from our website. It's a very easy approval process, and once you're an approved program, then you're eligible for all of the services we're talking about and discounts from the vendors. And